Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to today's market update. A very important update in my opinion, because as I said in the last videos, this is our 3-day market structure low, and in the last video we were right here SFPing the market structure, and I said there are different scenarios when you SFP the market structure and the next candle closes below this market structure here, then the market structure is broken. If we did not close above here and we're close here and then move higher, this is our new market structure low. And as you can see, we broke it, and now it's the second 3-day candle closing below. Maybe it still has nearly 2 days, so it can still go up and then be a bad break, but I would say you should look at this from a broken market structure perspective. And if we now reverse this whole candle here, then I would look at this from a bad break, because in a normal environment on the lower time frame I actually would have traded something like this, as I said, in a lower time frame, and what you usually get is another candle down, solidifying this as a good break, because we got multiple candle closes below the market structure. And if we then get after another bearish candle, when we then get some sort of a lower high for a lower low, then it's totally fine. But as for now, I would say this market structure is broken. If this candle completely reverses and goes up again, then I would look at this from a bad break perspective. But even then, it also can go up, take out the highs, and then go down again. So it's a very difficult spot here, but this is a confirmed 3-day market structure break, and don't underestimate that, because that's a pretty high time frame, the 3-day, and if we break the 3-day, this could mean a bearish reversal. And for example, so you can see that this actually is an important market structure. It is a bit different, but you can see here, this was the last all-time high, 3-day market structure. So up, 2 candles down, 2 candles up, 2 candles down, and you can see we got the candles down, SFP at first, we closed right on the market structure, then went down, solidifying this as a very high quality break. The next candle went up, went for the lower high, for the lower low. Well, on the 3-day this is not market structure, but you know what I mean. And in this case, it is pretty much the same. So up, down, up. The only thing is the move down here left so much liquidity that I was not confident in saying on the Bitcoin chart that this is a high here. I was not. I made the comparison to here, that we went up, we went down slowly, leaving liquidity behind, and then pick up momentum. And this is what can happen here too, that we are going down now. Currently, we are within a demand zone. A more refined demand zone is here. But I truly think that this won't hold that much. You can see this is, if you put in the range volume thing to the high, you can see it's right around the value area high of this move up here. and this demand block is backed by this value area high. So what I have on my chart here right now is on the daily chart, maybe a range, but I have to say it's a very ugly range. So we have our swing high here, and this is our swing low, high, and I have to say this does not really look like a range. You can see this move, if we would have gotten a move up here again, like let's say like this would look more like a range and not this move, fast move down here. But technically speaking, I'm really trying to stay subjective here. And technically speaking, if this is the high, this is a swing low, this is our market structure high from here till here. If we break this, this would mean a rotation back up to this high. So this is the idea. And if, it's only an if scenario, we get acceptance back into this range. Because as for now, we are SFPing the range limit here. That's fine. If we close back again in the range, we could look at some sort of accumulation here, because now everybody is like super bearish, and that's okay. Because USDT, and I will talk about USDT in a minute, is confirming the move down. But if we get what I said in the last videos, that we locally here accumulate, because on the daily this looks like a fast move down. It is a relatively fast move down, but we only have this supply here. And this supply isn't even that high probability. If you look, we got the inefficiency, but on the lower time frame, it's basically liquidity here. You can see. So I have it there, but it is nothing special. So, but this is not a nice low. So preferably we took out this low, and now we are creating one low, another low, and the question is, can we keep the momentum, come back inside of the range volume here, and maybe use these lows here, or even this low, it doesn't matter. If we get acceptance back into the range, mitigate the only supply that we have in the range, and then come back down later, maybe even for a Wyckoff Model 1, and then look at something like this. Whoop. At something like this. And as I said, even on the daily time frame, for example, if this whole range, even with a third tab, is valid on a daily time frame, and this is our daily market structure high, and we break bullish back here, this could mean a rotation back to the daily high. And if we break this, this could mean a rotation to this high. And the thing is now, I'm trying to connect the dots here. The thing is, June often is a pivotal month. So either, and this is not like, yeah, we are going up or down, but it's often that June is a pivotal month. So if we keep going down, then we could put in the low sometime in June, someday here in June. But what if we accumulate here right now, go up, set in the high in June, and then distribute from here? Because everybody would get so bullish here, This would be insane. So this would be a nice playbook, and I'm trying to just look at the chart and think what would trap the most people. What would be a scenario that no one is expecting, but is still on the table? And technically speaking, this is a very ugly range, but it is technically speaking still valid on the daily time frame. But it needs a lot of work. So we have to see what the market will offer us. But I feel like this liquidity will get taken out, even if I'm very confident that we are revisiting this low here. I don't know about this price action. But I have to say there's some sort of subjectivity here, because I obviously want a trade, and it's not my style to limit in here and have my stop loss somewhere, or my liquidation price as my stop loss. I don't know. That's how many people trade. I like to have my stop loss set, my entry confirmation, and for me here wasn't a single entry confirmation. In this whole move down, there was not a single confirmation. It would be another thing if this would have taken out this high. Then I would maybe look for an entry here, but we did not get it, and I won't enter on something that is not my confirmation. So basically, the subjectivity part here is that the move up here would give me an entry on many pairs, but if we don't get it, I can say if we now really shit the bed and go down here, there will be some sort of a retracement leg for a redistribution, and then I will trade this here. It does not matter. And this here, this trade here, something like this, can net me more money. This trade can net me more money than a trade perfectly with a very high stop loss because the entry was very bad, and now it's this. So I can get more out of a trade like this that is playing out faster than here. And if you understand this, you don't have FOMO. You just wait for your confirmation, you wait for your entry, and we will be fine, okay? So no need for FOMO, because if there was no entry, there's no point in having FOMO. And if there was an entry and you don't have the skill to enter, then there's no FOMO either, because you don't have the skill to enter. So in hindsight, you look at the price and you say, shit, there was an entry, but you don't have the skill to enter the trade, so no need to FOMO. But if you have the skill and you could have entered and it was not pre-planned, then, well, you should not feel FOMO either way, but then it's another thing. But here you have to envision the price action before it happens. Obviously, if this does not accumulate here and go up and maybe form the distribution here, then I would say there's a high chance that we go down. But this needs a lot of work. And the thing is, you have to understand, this is our weekly high. As I said, there's a high chance that this is our weekly high. It is our weekly high. We had a nice distribution here. So for me personally, this was clearly the weekly high. And that's why I thought that we could go lower, take out this low, and then from here accumulate. But now it's Friday. We put in this low, well, on Thursday. So means this could be the weekly low. And maybe we rebalance a bit and go up again into the next resistance. And then we have these weekend lows forming, because today is Friday. And this weekend lows coming up again will be taken out for the next week to put in the weekly low, maybe on Monday, Tuesday, and then reverse again. This would be a plan, and as you can see, we kind of need to go up now or Saturday, but we pretty much have to go up now in today's sessions. For then the weekend to go down slowly, take out the low, and then put in the weekly pivot on Monday, Tuesday for the move up. Okay, this is my pre-planning. On USDT, this is what I wanted to say. I mapped out this accumulation here in the last videos, and I said that this could be a model 1 with the PS. I explained everything in the videos. I don't remember which one, but it was on a market update where I elaborated exactly on this price action. I even posted it on X, and I got some hate. Some people said, this is not an accumulation here, we can go lower, etc. But you can see the accumulation is playing out. I'm pretty sure that I was talking about this accumulation playing out right around here. So it is not hindsight analysis, this is well pre-planned, and obviously we broke market structure here, the 3-day market structure, but we are currently tapping in supply, and you can see we got some reaction. It's the same. This supply is the demand on Bitcoin, and yeah, so it's still on the table, but I have to say, when I'm trading an accumulation, for example, I would be very confident that this would be a temporary rejection for the continuation. In a normal environment, I would think that, and this is technically speaking on the table, but I won't be open-minded that we can still see some downside, more chop, and maybe get a range like this. But this is not even a confirmed range. We need to move into the equilibrium, go down, and then do this thing. But yeah, you can see USDT is a lot more accumulative than Bitcoin is distributive. But we have to see what happens on the crypto pairs here, like ETH. You can see we are still leaving all this liquidity here, and we are getting very close to our range low. So now comes the interesting part, because yeah, I was looking for an accumulation here, but I did not get the entry. If we come down to this range low, the order flow objective from this distribution is the range low. So if we come there, price is neutral again on this chart here. And you can see Bitcoin is like here, and ETH is at the range low, nearly at the February low here. So what if the altcoins here, Sui reversed the whole pump here? It's coming down to the February low, with Doge is still high up here. Solana 2-tap model coming down to the range low, and XRP completed this 2-tap. Well, it completed here, but you can see it grabbed major liquidity from this range. And now you have to ask yourself, if the main crypto pairs, paper coming down, Fartcoin, okay, Link, BNB, yeah, but you have to ask yourself, here, from here technically speaking, this is the model because this was equal high. So this was 110 bars. And from here to now is 110 bars. So you can see that we could shift the liquidity game here on some altcoin pairs, on ETH, on XRP, and mainly on those two. But these are the highest market cap altcoins. So what if we come down to the range low and change the liquidity game, maybe even come down to here and then start an accumulative process, because this is overall a slow move down and this is definitely on the table, something like this. So we had an ugly distribution on the high, and now we could form some sort of accumulation. And if this is really accumulative here, starting at February, maybe we take out the low in June. This is already 3 months, 4 months, more than 4 months, 5 months, nearly, accumulative price behavior here. We have some demand here, nothing special, but it is there. We have to see. What I want to say is that the moves down here on the crypto pairs and on Bitcoin, if we complete this here, there's no order flow objective anymore on USDT. So we can reach the range high, take out the lows here. I don't think that this move till here would mean that Bitcoin is at 60K. I really don't think that, but we will see. And then we go down again and keep our thing here. But this can also be a macro pivot. So it's a bit difficult for me because USDT is so clear, and I can't speak this bearish here. I really can't. But looking at some altcoins, I can see that we could form accumulations here, and we are taking main liquidity points on majors, and Bitcoin is now having so many moves down. As I often said, you are taking the low once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And what I often say is when the low or the high, or we get structured moves 3 to 5 times in the same direction, we often get a counter rally. Not a full reversal, but often at least a little bit for the continuation, okay? So maybe this will happen here, and this would mean the move down on USDT, and this would mean a move up on the majors, okay? I hope the price action is clear. I hope it's clear what I'm looking for this week and the next week. Either way, I will update again in 1 or 2 days. I hope you like this style of content. I'm really not pre-planning that much. I'm opening the charts and speaking out my thoughts. So, yeah. I would appreciate if you subscribe my channel, you like the video, maybe even share it if you want. Leave a comment if you like the video, and if you want me to do TA on some altcoin, I will write them below and I will make a TA video, or I will include it on the market update. We have to see. But yeah, a move up here, maybe accumulate to go up, but we will see. It needs a lot of work. But yeah, thank you for your attention. Stay grateful, stay sharp, stay disciplined. Don't FOMO in, wait for your confirmations, and then you will be successful. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye.